Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for our special webinar, Help Your Community Win with Money. My name's Jordan Watwood.
And I'm Jonathan Flippin.
And we're both here on the team at Ramsey Solutions. So thanks a bunch for taking some time in your busy day. For those of you on the East Coast, you're probably just wrapping up with lunch. For those of you on the West Coast, good morning. So thanks a lot for spending some time with us today.
Absolutely.
Before we get started, we just want to announce today's winners. If you recall, you got an email yesterday and then again this morning reminding you to show up here. And we announced that we'd select 3 of today's attendees and give them copies of Dave's best-selling book, The Total Money Makeover. So we just want to announce those winners. We have 3, so Candace Blowers, Derek Owens, and LJ Britt. Thanks a lot for showing up and being on this webinar, and we'll contact you afterwards with details on how to get your copy of The Total Money Makeover.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to start off today by sharing with you the takeaways. This is what you're going to get out of this webinar, just to kind of level set the stage. So there's 3 big things that we want to share with you today. One of them is we're going to talk about who can lead a Financial Peace University group. Then we're going to discuss how to get started with your Financial Peace University group. And then we're going to share a little bit about some tips for overcoming some of the challenges that you might experience. A couple housekeeping items before we really dive into the meat. You'll notice on your webinar viewer, there's a little section for questions. We'd love for you to use that throughout the webinar if you have certain questions. Just type them in there and send them. We'll see them. We'll have a Q&A section at the end of the webinar, and we'll dive into as many of those questions as we can, time allowed. And then also, the other thing to give you a heads up on is that this webinar is being recorded. So for whatever reason you have to step away and you can't make it through the full webinar, no worries, we've got you covered. We're recording it, and an email will go out after the webinar with a link to this recording so you can watch it later on, share it with folks that you know, that sort of thing. So just wanted to let that, plant that seed ahead of time. Remember to use the questions feature if you can. All right, so Jonathan, we're spending a bunch of time today talking about what Financial Peace University is, how to bring it to your community. Can you tell those who are on this webinar who maybe haven't experienced Financial Peace what Financial Peace University is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Financial Peace University is a 9-week curriculum that can be hosted in a church or in a community, somewhere in your community. And the design of the class is to actually give you a very turnkey solution to help you teach the 7 baby steps, to help you actually start people on the 7 baby steps. And maybe you yourself haven't taken the class, but you can use this curriculum to help others start that process that Dave talks about on the radio all day, every day.
Awesome. So is Financial Peace University something that is only for people who want to get out of debt, or is it for all sorts of folks who just maybe don't feel like they're really hitting a home run with money?
It really, no matter where you're at on your journey of your finances, it really is for you. So I always joke with people on the phone, if you're a thousandaire or a millionaire, this is something that you're going to get something out of. I've led over 20 classes myself, and I've had people who were too broke to pay attention be in that group. And I've had millionaires go through this class. Every single person got something out of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So our first objective today, first takeaway is who can lead a group. So we want to go through different scenarios on different types of people. Really, when it comes down to it, there's 3 big groups or buckets of people that I think raise their hand and show an interest in leading Financial Peace University. One of them is people who really feel a desire to help others win with money. You probably talk to a lot of people like that on the phone, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're maybe watching this and you're at work right now, and look around you. You've got coworkers, you've got people that are in your circle that you may talk to. And money stress comes up. Maybe it's a contention. So there's this natural desire that you have to help them. He's like, gosh, I wish I had a way that I could help them fix that situation.
Mhm.
And that's one of the reasons why many people get in touch with us.
Yeah, awesome. And just to clarify, I don't think we mentioned this earlier. Jonathan is a stewardship advisor. He's a member of our team who helps set up coordinators to lead Financial Peace University groups.
Yeah.
So he's on the phone with them all the time, every day, talking through scenarios, helping them make their Financial Peace University groups extremely successful.
Yeah.
So he did a great job. Yeah. So another group of people that we find are really interested in leading a Financial Peace University group are volunteers. So whether it's a volunteer at church or in a community organization, often these are people who their leaders say, hey, we need a program or a course that we can give our people.
Right.
Hey, I heard something about this Financial Peace University group. I'd like you to go check it out and bring it back to our church, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and in each of those buckets, whether it's a church, a leader saying, hey, like you said, Jordan, I want you to come check this. I want you to check this out, see if it's something that would be beneficial to the congregation. Those volunteers, it really is easy for you to lead a class because you're not having to come up with trying to reinvent the wheel. And it really provides a turnkey solution to your leaders at church to accomplish really what they're seeing in their congregation, which is people living paycheck to paycheck, people hurting, marriages suffering. I mean, those pastors are counseling with people. They're hearing money stress in those conversations and those counseling sessions. And what this does is it lessens the burden on them so that they can do what they do best as a pastor. Within the community, maybe it's a local community organization or or a local nonprofit that is wanting to help the community, and they've got volunteers within that organization that wants to step up because they see money struggles and money stress being one of the limiting factors of the community, that they see these constant issues of need coming in that's attached to a lack of financial education. And so this is a great way for a nonprofit or a community organization to really be able to help serve the community in that capacity.
Yeah. One thing that we've noticed lately is kind of a trend we're seeing is a lot of churches that have small groups are looking to Financial Peace University as a great program to use in a small group setting. So it doesn't have to be something big. It can be something small too, and it's really effective.
Oh, absolutely. I see a lot of churches, especially where the leadership of a church is trying to transition families from just going to church every Sunday and trying to transition them over to a small group ministry. This is a really good segue for them, where they begin to understand what a small group feels like, what doing life together with other families feels like. And so when that class is over with, that group kind of transitions over to an ongoing small group. So that really works well for churches too. They're trying to build a small group ministry. Awesome.
Another group of people that we see often raise their hands and want to lead in a Financial Peace University group are folks who want to be gazelle intense, right? So we often see this with people who are in the midst of their own debt-free journey. Maybe they're on baby step 2, if you're familiar with that. They're working the debt snowball, and they need something to keep them motivated.
Yeah, well, actually, that's part of my story. The reason why I've led 20 classes is because I wanted to get out of debt. And, the best way for me to stay gazelle intense was for me to help others become gazelle intense.
Nice.
So as I'm working the baby steps, I'm actually helping other people start their baby step journey. So absolutely, it definitely helped me get out of debt much faster because I was helping other people.
It's cool. This week, if you are a listener of the Dave Ramsey Show, we've been celebrating our Financial Peace University coordinators all week long. Dave's christened it Financial Peace University Coordinator Appreciation Week.
Yeah, it's fun.
He signed a proclamation. But we had on Monday, we had 3 Financial Peace University coordinators come in and do a debt-free scream right there in the lobby. And all 3 of those couples became debt-free while coordinating a Financial Peace University group. So there's some gazelle intensity happening right there.
Absolutely. The best way to stay on course is to help others start the course. And that, again, that is something that I think I would have taken twice as long to get out of debt than I did. And the reason why is because when you're leading a class, the people are kind of looking at you as the pace car. And so it really does help help you mind your P's and Q's. So.
That's right. That's the truth. For folks who are just joining us, I'm seeing the number of attendees jump up a little bit here. My name is Jordan Watwood, and this is Jonathan Flippin, and we are both team members here at Ramsey Solutions. We're talking about how you can help your community win with money using Financial Peace University, and we're covering three major objectives: who can lead a Financial Peace group, how to get started, and tips for overcoming challenges along the way. We just covered who can lead a group. And I think before we jump into, well, there you go. The last slide is essentially anybody can lead a group. That's the main answer to that takeaway right there. Just about anybody can do it. We want to start off our second objective with a quick poll. So if you'll look on your screen, a poll should just pop up right here in a second. And if you'll take a minute to answer that, it's just a yes or no question. We'll move on. I'll give it a minute or so before we close the poll. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Ramsey Solutions is located here in right outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and we're enjoying some amazing July weather. It's like unseasonably cool outside.
Well, it sometimes is a little tricky in July. Being a native here, I feel like I'm a unicorn because there's not too many native Tennesseans in the Nashville area anymore. So many people are moving here. But July is a bit of a trick sometimes where the humidity goes away, and you're like, oh, well, maybe it's going to be, nope, summer comes rushing right back, and then
smacked in the face in August. Huh?
August is coming. It's summer, the return, So.
I moved here at the beginning of the year from Texas, and it's just hot all the time. So
yeah, it's a dry heat, right?
It's still a heat.
It's like sitting under a hairdryer.
That's right. It's not pleasant, no matter how you do it. All right, I'm going to close this poll so we can move on. And actually, interestingly enough, it looks like the majority of the folks on this webinar have not attended Financial Peace University.
Okay.
So good thing we covered that earlier in the webinar.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, takeaway number 2 is how to get started leading a Financial Peace University group at your church or your community. So there's 2 big things that you would probably want to have locked down when you approach us about wanting to start a group. And the first one is, when do you want to start your group? What are the best seasons to start a Financial Peace University group in your mind?
Well, naturally what we see, especially with churches and community classes as well, is we typically see the fall time frame, so August, September, October, and then after the first of the year, January, February, March. The reasons for that, we see those 2 peak seasons, is because the majority of families that they actually finance their summer vacations. Go figure, we finance everything in this culture, right? So, but yeah, they finance their summer vacation. They start coming back from that vacation. Well, what comes in a month later? That credit card bill, right? So they're having a bit of an oh no moment, and they're realizing that their plan in 2018 isn't working financially. Right. And now kids are getting ready to go back to school. Well, guess where the money comes from I don't know about your family, but I just got through paying for back to school stuff for my son who's going to kindergarten for the first time, and I'm like, good grief, I didn't need all this stuff when I was going to school, but apparently they need everything from Amazon and Walmart combined to go to school. Yeah. And guess where that's going? That's going on their credit card. So these families are in your church, they're in your community, and they're kind of silently struggling with this anxiousness and this fear on money. And guess what's going to happen 3 months after school starts back? We're at Christmas.
That's right.
And so then again, after the first of the year, same thing. Christmas credit card bill starts rolling in. It's tax season, New Year's resolutions. People want to change, right? So that's why we find that those are 2 big peak seasons. But I will also say there is never a bad time to start a class, because money fights, money struggles, money fears do not take a vacation. When I was living paycheck to paycheck, the summertime was not a time where it's like, oh, I feel so peaceful about my finances. It happened. That stress existed all the time. Right. So giving somebody a plan, that there's never a bad time, but we want you to talk to us. So give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help you walk through what time works best for you. Yeah, no, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah. I mean, 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and there isn't a seasonality involved in that. So people are always out there needing help, but they may not know how to articulate that.
But yeah, as Jonathan mentioned, the fall season is a really big one, and that's right around the corner. So if you're considering leading a Financial Peace University group in your community, September, October would be great times to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of people right now are setting up their groups and getting ready for that, and there's plenty of time to get one started.
Absolutely, we'll help.
So the other thing is thinking about where you want to host your group.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of folks host their groups in churches, and that's awesome, and we love that. But what are some other places where you could host a financial peace group?
Well, we've seen like local community centers, so think like a YMCA or a rec center, a place that has some space, a local library, even some local businesses. Like if you know somebody that has a business office that might have a meeting room in it,
sure.
Any place that you can have a meeting space where it has AV, and of course there is an option of Financial Peace University where people can stream the video on their own online, and then you guys just come together weekly and just do the group discussion. Mm-hmm. So you don't necessarily have to have a meeting space that requires audio-visual capabilities. So this is, again, you really can host it anywhere. You can even host it out of your home.
Yep.
So again, it's how do you want to help people? Help them where they're at and what works for you.
Yeah, no, that's a good way of putting it. I'm excited because this October I'm leading my first Financial Peace University group. Yep. So I'm doing it at a YMCA right here in Franklin. And they're super excited about it. I am too. We're looking forward to having a big group of people show up for it.
Yeah.
So kind of the tail end of that fall season, but it was really easy to set it up. I just called them up and said, hey, I'd like to do this group. It aligns perfectly with their mission. They have a part of their mission where they want to do outreach and ministry programs, and they were looking for something. So it worked out really well.
It's great you mentioned that because, a lot of times for community classes, one of the struggles for coordinators is like getting help promoting, getting help marketing, where the church is kind of naturally built in. There's a captive audience each week. If the leadership of the church is really on board, then they understand the importance of promoting and marketing and why they need to get more families involved in the class. But in the community, the coordinator can kind of feel isolated on their own. But you bring up a good point. Like wherever the location is that you're wanting to meet, let's say like a YMCA or like a local library or something, like talk to those directors of those facilities. Share with them your heart, your passion for wanting to help people, and see how that connects with them. And guess what? They may be willing to take some of the resources of the facility and actually help you promote it and market it.
No, that's a great point. And you'll never know if you don't ask. So
that's right. It's always a no if you don't ask.
That's true. I think that's a great segue into our next slide. So we've talked about thinking about when you want to lead a group and then where you want to lead a group. Then we'll help you with the rest. So that's kind of a loaded slide right here. What is the rest? So just kind of walk us through. Somebody shows up. They know when they want to lead about. They know where they would like to lead. Where do we take it from there?
Well, what we'll do is we will walk with you. We'll really hold your hand through the whole process as far as when's your date and time? Well, when do you want to start? Well, we'll get your group listed. We'll set that up on DaveRamsey.com if it's in a public location, so we can help direct and funnel some of the traffic coming to DaveRamsey.com. People looking for classes in your area, they'll be able to see your group right there on DaveRamsey.com. So that's one way that we can help filter some of the community towards you. We also have a slew of promotional resources, videos, graphics, social media content. I mean, tons of things to help posters. We have you covered along with a marketing plan that will help you be able to know exactly what to do even 8 weeks out before your class. So our team here, we've got 30 Financial Peace advisors that are committed to help you be successful in launching this class and helping you help those families.
That's great. It's extremely turnkey. It's just looking for people who are willing to help, and we'll help you with the rest.
Absolutely.
No, that's great. All right, so another poll. Let's go ahead and do this one. This is a question for you. I'm going to launch this poll. And it is, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing that you think is preventing you from helping others win with money? So give you a minute to fill that poll out here.
We should have put in some Jeopardy music or something while this
is
going.
Me too, right?
Yeah.
We'll add some music. That'll be great. All right, the results are starting to come in. Again, while we're here waiting for this poll to close, I just want to reintroduce ourselves to anybody who's joining us for the first time and just tuning into this webinar. My name is Jordan Watwood. This is Jonathan Flippin, and we're here to talk with you about how to help your community win with money using Financial Peace University. We both are on the team here at Ramsey Solutions. And so far, we've covered 2 of our takeaways. We talked about who can lead a Financial Peace University group, and we've talked about how to get started.
Yeah.
So we're about to dive into number 3, which is some of our tips for overcoming challenges along the way. Got a few more numbers popping in here, so we're going to wait just a second before we close this poll. It looks like people are changing their answer, doesn't it?
I know. Clicking around. I'm not really sure which one.
So we can see the stats on who's answering what, and then the numbers are bouncing all over the place. So
kind of funny.
A few more seconds, and then we'll close this poll and move on. All right. Okay, so third takeaway for today, tips for overcoming challenges. So some of this section is almost going to be kind of like a Mythbusters section, right? There's a lot of perceived myths about what keeps someone or prevents someone from leading a Financial Peace University group. And so we're going to do our best to bust those myths. So one of them is that coordinating can be tough, that it's a hard thing to do. I think we've already covered a little bit of this in our previous section where we talked about how turnkey it is. But I think one of the things to point out is just how fun coordinating can be. Dave mentions all the time on the radio show that coordinating is a front row seat to life change.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've done it. I'm about to do it. But what's that like, watching people change their lives?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, if anybody's ever done any kind of volunteer work, like Habitat for Humanity, or done any disaster relief work. I know when the Nashville floods happened several years ago, we gutted this lady's house, and basically it was like a $10,000 cost to her. It would have been if our ministry hadn't went in and actually helped her. But watching her receive this gift, when you're on the front row of life change going through Financial Peace University, you begin to see hope come back in these people's eyes. Husbands and wives that are sitting there like this, through the whole, with their arms crossed, their legs crossed, they're just at the very first of the series of the weeks, the Financial Peace class, you begin to see them draw closer together, and you see them working towards their goals by the class. I can't stress enough, watching hope return in someone's eyes. It's almost like their eyes begin to shine. And I go, something clicked with you this week, and you start having those conversations with them. And to me, that fires me up, and it's worth the work. I mean, anybody that's ever done any kind of work like I was referring to with disaster relief or going on a missions trip. I mean, it was a lot of work, but you get energy, you get energized from it. You receive energy from it. And so for me, that's been the case every time I've led an FPU class, because, if only one family came and got their life changed, well, what else could I be doing that was this easy to get started that actually changed someone's life?
That's true.
And that's incredible. So that's why I love doing the class.
No, that's great. That's great. I'm looking forward to doing it myself. The easy part, right? We talked a little bit about how turnkey this can be, but I've heard Dave say if you can put some chairs in a circle and plug a DVD into the player and hit play, it's kind of as easy as that to lead a group.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the team for 13 years, and one of the things that I've consistently coached coordinators on doing is, if you can push play on a video, put chairs in a circle, and just love on people for 9 weeks, you're gonna do an incredible job. So, don't let fear stop you.
Yeah, not rocket science.
Yeah.
All right, so here's another one. The teaching is all done by Dave. So I think a lot of people who are considering leading a Financial Peace University group are intimidated by the thought of having to teach others how to win with money. And that's one big thing we want to point out is you don't have to do the teaching.
Right.
Dave does it.
Yeah. So the teaching team that's on Financial Peace University, and of course the majority of it is Dave, but they're doing the heavy lifting. So again, you don't have to be the financial expert. All you have to do is just be a willing participant in guiding people towards this process.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about accidentally guiding someone in the wrong direction.
Right.
You're just getting them there and letting Dave do the teaching.
Yeah, the system that we've designed, been proven for 25 years to be very effective at helping someone change their life. Now, everybody wants to be better, but not everybody wants to change. So you can't do anything about that, but you can provide the opportunity. And that's what you're doing with Financial Peace. So you don't have to, be, well, what do I have to say and what do I need to do? And I'm telling you, in the classes that I lead, you can probably tell I'm a little bit of a talkative person. I talk less than 10% of the time. And the reason why is because the focus needs to be on the group. What is Dave trying to teach them? And then helping them realize where they're at in their journey and how to take what Dave is teaching them and begin to apply it to their behavior.
No, that's great. Here's another tip, or just a myth to bust. You don't need to be a financial expert. Jonathan just kind of touched on that, but you really don't. And actually, one thing that's really cool about Financial Peace University, as a coordinator, we have a digital dashboard that you have access to that allows you to manage your class online. And all of your members have access to a digital platform as well, where they can see some of the videos, where they can download things like budget sheets and just experience the class beyond the time that you meet together. One of the things that we offer in that for members is Ask a Coach, which is really cool. We have a team of financial coaches around the country that can answer questions, the hard questions that maybe coordinators don't have the experience or expertise to answer.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. You don't need to worry about being an expert. Dave's the expert. Our team of coaches are the experts.
Right. I mean, do you have the heart of a teacher? Do you have a willing spirit to help these families? And again, even some of the poll numbers, I see that there's a quarter of you that don't know. You're not sure who to help. Well, everybody needs help. As Jordan said earlier, 78% of families are living paycheck to paycheck. So look around you. 8 out of 10 of the people you're looking at, they desperately need this. Some people are ignorant of the fact that they need it because, and I know I was, when I was living paycheck to paycheck, I just thought, well, the little man can't get ahead. What Dave says on the radio, woe is me. But the bottom line is that if you've got a willing spirit to help these families improve, then that's all it takes.
No, that's great. Let's move on to another one. Here's a big one. A lot of folks are worried that they won't be able to coordinate because they still have debt. And we want to bust that myth big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do not need to be debt-free to be a Financial Peace University coordinator. As we mentioned earlier, there were 3 coordinators who came into the office this week to do their debt-free screens, and they were able to become debt-free in part because they led Financial Peace University. So they had to be in debt to be debt-free afterwards, right?
That's it. They were just working their plan, and they knew that they needed help, and they wanted to bring others with them. And so if you resonate with that, you're like, I want to start this journey myself. Well, bring others with you. That way you got a whole group of people cheering you when you cross the finish line.
What's cool is we reached out to some of the group members of these coordinators from years past and asked if they had anything they'd like to say to congratulate their former coordinator on becoming debt-free. And we had a couple people who wrote in and specifically said how much they appreciated watching their coordinators go through their debt-free journey. And work the snowball, work baby step 2, do the hard things to pay that off, and it was inspiring to the people in the class.
Absolutely. You don't know what your efforts, the work you're doing to change who you are in your own journey, how that's going to inspire others. And so that's a great reason to also offer FPU if you're trying to keep the fuel on that fire yourself. Other people are going to be watching that, and it's really kind of a built-in accountability.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why Dave always talks about the best way to experience Financial Peace University is in the group setting, is that accountability. I mean, you can tell yourself all day long you're ready to kick debt in the butt, but until you're around other people who are going to call you on and who are going through the same journey, you may never actually do it.
Yeah.
So it's a big part of it.
Good point.
All right, here's another myth to bust. You don't have to have taken Financial Peace University before to become a coordinator. And it looks like a lot of you who are on the webinar today have not taken Financial Peace. 40% of folks who raise their hands and become Financial Peace University coordinators tell us that they've never taken Financial Peace before. So they actually experience the group at the same time they're leading the group.
Yeah, I mean, that's well put. It's exactly what I would say. Dave, as we've already covered, Dave is the one doing the heavy lifting and teaching, and you're facilitating the small group discussion questions we've already written out for you. The case studies, they've already been planned out for you, so you're not having to come up with your own content and reinvent the wheel here. But all you have to do is just take the course along with everyone else, but you're the one who is helping keep people motivated and encouraged. And so you can be a student as you are also being a coordinator.
Awesome. Got a few more here. Oh, wait, that was the last one. Okay. So one of the things we wanted to do today was offer you all on the webinar a special deal. So here it is, our leadership materials for Financial Peace University. And for those of you who have never experienced Financial Peace before, haven't gone through the group before, we'll extend this to also a leader membership. So basically, we want to get in your hands the materials you need to lead a group, and we want to drop that price dramatically. As I mentioned earlier, this week is Coordinator Appreciation Week, and a big part of this week's activities are helping new people become coordinators, and we don't want price to be an obstacle for that. So if you look on the side of your webinar viewer, there should be a chat section, and I'm going to go ahead and paste in a link where you can go and buy this today if you would like to. So I'm sending this to the entire group. Get your leadership materials for $99. You can also go to daveramsey.com today, and you'll see right there on the home page, big old banner encouraging you to purchase your leader materials for $99. So either way is fine. Again, we'll send an email out after the webinar about this. But Jonathan, what's in the leadership materials? What do you get for $99?
Yeah, so you get all the videos that you need to facilitate. It's basically like Dave in a box, right? You're getting the videos that you need to do the teaching with, all of the lesson plans, everything that you need to create the environment of Financial Peace University that we're so well known for. That is all in there. Again, there's question cards for you to use for icebreakers during the group discussion. And then as Jordan said, if you've not been through Financial Peace University, which it looks like from the poll that the majority of you haven't, we'll actually include a membership in there with it. So, give us a call. I don't know if that's on that link there, but give us a call if that leader membership isn't there, and we will be happy to hook you up with that. And that alone is at retail is $129, just a membership. So essentially, for less than the price of a membership, you can get what you need to not only go through the class, but help others as well, which that's an incredible deal.
Yeah, and a leader membership or a leadership materials kit, you can use time and again if you choose to lead a few classes a year, or want to come back and do it in another year. That still works when you want to lead again.
Absolutely. And then all the online resources, which that is humongous. So you get a year's access to all the Financial Peace videos online that you can stream. Also, the follow-up class to Financial Peace University called the Legacy Journey. Videos for that is all on there for a year. And then also you get access to EveryDollar Plus, which that alone is $99 a year.
That's right.
So I mean, that's probably like $400 or $500 worth of resources if you were to a la carte that, and it's all for $99.
Yep, and you'll get access to other special things, like we do live streams throughout the year that are exclusive for coordinators, so you get access to really awesome content from some of the other Ramsey personalities. There's a bunch of different things that are baked into that.
Oh yeah,
a really big deal. So
we could do a whole webinar just on everything that's on financialpeace.com.
That's true. All right, so remember, check your chat on your webinar viewer to grab that link, or go to daveramsey.com and you'll see it right there on the homepage. Again, we'll send an email as a follow-up with a link to purchase this as well. And just so you know, this Coordinator Appreciation Week comes to a close tomorrow. We're extending this $99 offer to the very end of the month, but that's only a few days away. So don't miss out on this. The price will jump back up to $229. So. All right, so now it's time for questions and answers. I see a few of them have come in, and we'll try going through those one at a time and look for ones that we can answer. So here's one from Aaron. Can you complete Financial Peace University on your own without a group? Is it as successful to do it on your own? So we kind of covered that earlier, but Jonathan, you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you can. I mean, people go to purchase a Financial Peace University membership. It gives them the option of how they want to experience the group or Financial Peace in and of itself. So what we always will encourage first for them to do is to get involved in a local group. The reason why is because when you're able to do life with other people, life change happens in groups. That is what we have seen proven time and time again. Most people aren't disciplined enough, and this is across the board, whether it's losing weight, whether it's finances. Most people are not disciplined enough to devise a plan and then execute it, having no accountability, having no one encourage them and speak into that. But when you have that built in with Financial Peace, and it's no more expensive, it's the same price. Take the group, because now you've got people around you that can encourage you that are also on that same journey. And guess what? You encouraging them kind of helps you too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great. Here's a question from Christy. Do you have a packet of information to present to a group to explain the program? I'd like something to show them. So it sounds like you're wanting to show maybe your church leadership a little bit more about the program. And we do have something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me give you a phone number, and this phone number would be a great information for you or a great resource for you to call to talk to our team. It's 877-378-2667. Again, that's 877-378-2667. I see Jordan just posted that as well. That will come to our stewardship team, and you'll actually get to talk to one of our experts, maybe even me, and we'll be able to get you what you need so that you can present something formally to your leadership.
Okay, awesome. Let's see here. We got a few other ones. Here's a good one. So earlier in the week, Dave gave away some leadership materials on the radio show.
Yeah,
so did. Elaine just commented in that she won one of those kits. So she called in and claimed hers. She's been thinking about becoming a coordinator, and the announcement came up. That's my sign. So sounds like God made it really clear for you.
That's awesome,
That's
Elaine.
Awesome. All right, let's see here. Lynette asks a question. I see that every family who attends is required to purchase a membership to Financial Peace University. How much is that? Maybe you can say how much is that, and then real quickly, what do you get?
Yeah, absolutely. So another advantage of doing it as a group, and this maybe will help with the other individual who asked the question about can you do it as a group, is that we actually give group discounts to coordinators or churches who are offering classes. So the price at that group rate, when people are ordering it through a group link that we will provide to you when you provide to us your date and time that you're wanting to start your class, is $109. So now the retail rate on DaveRamsey.com is $129. So you give a $20 discount right off the front end. But if your church, for instance, let's say if you're doing it through a church, let's say everyone's paying the church and the church wants to order in one bulk order, there can be some additional discounts based off the volume of that order. So anyway, the bottom line is that it's $109 or less depending on how the group orders.
Why does each family need to have their own membership?
It's a great question. So what we found out years ago is just people watching a video doesn't change behavior. It just educates people. Dave has said since the beginning of the radio show that success in personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge. So if they're just sitting and watching the video, they're getting the head knowledge, but they're not working the behavior change muscles. And so habits don't change by sitting and watching videos. And so what we found is that also people do not sit down on their own and come up with the plan of, okay, here's how I start, here's where I go. And so again, just like starting Financial Peace University is very turnkey, the membership itself is also turnkey because it gives them the tools. It helps them find out where the starting line is for them to start running this race, start running this marathon, and gives them the tools and the encouragement along that journey to be able to finish that race.
So membership is going to include a workbook. It's going to include access to financialpeace.com, where they're going to get all the digital components, videos, downloadable worksheets like our budgeting sheet, access to the group. They'll get a year of Every Dollar Plus also, which if you aren't familiar with it, it's a budgeting tool. You can have it as an app or on the desktop, and it links up with your bank account, and it allows you to create a budget and actually see in real time how you're spending according to your budget.
It's amazing. I use it every month for mine, and what's cool is it allows easy visibility of where your money is going, because a lot of budgeting tools, you basically put it in the app, or even just if you're using a pen and paper, you write it down, and then it's like, well, okay, how did I do?
Yeah.
And every dollar will show you how you did, because as you load those transactions in, or if you're hooked up to your bank, as those transactions load in, you have to drag and drop them into the right place where you budgeted. And so it helps you see, am I under budgeting, over budgeting in certain categories? It helps you think through, are there any big expenses coming up?
Sure.
Like Christmas, right? It happens on December 25th every year, but we somehow forget. And it helps you remember those things so that you know to plan for it. So when Christmas comes around, you can have a cash Christmas and not a credit Christmas.
Yeah, no, that's great. All right, let's see what else we got. Time for a few more questions. Got some folks that are saying they recommend that you experience financial peace in a group. Here's one from Laurie. What are some of the most effective ways to market a Financial Peace University group that is new to a church or hasn't been taught in a long time?
Yeah.
And additionally, what are the most useful tools on social media in that capacity? So what would you say to that?
Yeah. So first and foremost, everything begins it begins with leadership, because if you're doing this through a church, you certainly want to make sure that your leadership is able to create an expectation that families need to experience life change in this area. Typically in church, and I grew up in church, and so when money was talked about, it was always in the context of giving and generosity, but not really on the whole managing side. So guess where I learned how to manage money? From what the culture was teaching, right? Yeah. So of course, everybody, if you listen to the Dave Ramsey show for 5 minutes, you know that Dave teaches biblical personal finance, and so everything that we teach comes from Scripture. And and so obviously the church leaders pointing that, hey, God actually has a plan. He has hope for us in learning how to manage money His way, because He owns it all. So how do I actually start doing that? So the leadership communicating that there's an expectation there, first off, begins to generate an interest within the class in the church itself, because now people are aware of something that maybe they've not heard before, that, all this fear and anxiety that I'm experiencing about my finances is because I'm living out what the culture is saying I should doing. Maybe I should check out what God's plan is for this. Yeah. Now, there's also video resources. So if your church has video announcemements they do, or they have slides that they use for announcements, during church services, this is something that is available for you as a coordinator. We have a promotion section that actually has a whole marketing plan of how to utilize those resources and what weeks leading up to the first class would, along with what resources you should specifically use. So it has tons of suggestions there. Social media, I recommend the coordinators, they should do about 2 to 3 Facebook posts a week from the church's Facebook account, using those resources that are there, because all the videos and the digital content is easily shareable to social media. And the reason why is because Facebook, if you notice on your own news feed, it gets pretty busy. And so you've got to have enough impressions from your church's Facebook account to where it can kind of rise above the noise, and people begin to see that, oh, the church is pushing this a lot. This must be something they are prioritizing. They want me to get involved in. Yeah. So those are a few suggestions of how to really come out of the gate strong with a church that's not done financial peace before, or it's been a while.
I'd say too, like if there are certain events that happen in your church that are super successful, talk to the person who is in charge of marketing or communicating those events and find out how they do it.
Yeah, great idea.
There may be certain tricks or communication tools that they found were super successful, and you might be able to also avoid the ones that they spent a lot of time on that didn't really do anything. So
find out what works and repeat success.
That's right. Yep, perfect. Okay, let's move on to a few more questions before we wrap up. How do participants, this one's from Julie, how do participants get their materials to take the 9-week class? Do the coordinators order them, or do the participants?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there's 3 different ways that people can get involved in financial peace in your group. The first way is that you actually have the ability to take group orders. So let's say that you're promoting your class for that 6 to 8 week period, and you do a sign up a couple of weeks before your class starts. People will pay the church, and then the church will just do one bulk order for everyone that signed up and paid. And so it's real nice, clean and easy, and that works very well. I see that personally as one of the most effective ways to have a large group, because people are already there, they're excited. It's
Sure.
easy to just hand money to somebody and they're done.
Mm-hmm.
The second way is that we actually provide a group link. So when you provide to us your schedule and your location for where you're hosting the class, we'll give you a group link. And you can give that group link out to anybody and everybody that you want to sign up, and then they'll click on it, they'll register and order their membership themselves, and we'll send it to them. And then the third way is people who are on DaveRamsey.com just trying to learn about the class. They're not really sure what this is, but they get educated through our site about what FPU is, and they purchase a membership, and then they see that your group is local in their area, and then they come in that way.
Perfect. All right, let's answer a few more questions here. This one's from LJ, one of the winners of our drawing at the beginning of the webinar. Does the leader of a group get paid, or is it voluntary? That's a great one.
It is a great one. It is voluntary. It's a volunteer army, and the reason why is because actually when Dave first started this, we tried to look at a model of paying people, and people got really offended at that because they were like, no, this stuff has changed my life so much. And so the mentality of paying it forward is what really kind of took over, is that this has helped change my life so much. And that's something that we all naturally do anyways. I don't have to come up with the plan. I don't have to come up with the resources. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I can take this tool and easily go and volunteer and communicate this, and I get to change somebody's life in 9 weeks. I get to change a family tree in 9 weeks. Oh my gosh. It energizes me so much. And I tell you, as a coordinator, I have gotten so much more out of it than I've ever put into it. When I went through Financial Peace for the first time, I honestly felt like I didn't pay enough. I was like, oh my gosh, because I paid off $40,000 in debt in a year.
Nice.
So I would definitely say I got back well more than what I paid for it.
That's great. That's great. Question for Missy. So if I buy now, will you make sure I get the leader membership? So Missy, I'm assuming you probably haven't attended Financial Peace University in the past. Go ahead and grab that phone number that we put in the chat section, 877-378-2667. Go ahead and make that call. And let them know that you're on the webinar, and we'll make sure that we get you a leader membership for that $99. All right, we've only got a few more minutes, so let's see what we can crank out real quick. Okay, I know you said it's not necessary to complete Financial Peace University in order to teach it, but is it recommended? I'd just say you can do both at the same time.
Yeah, you can kill two birds with one stone on that one.
That's right.
You can complete it while you're helping other people.
And again, you're not teaching it. Dave is.
Yeah.
You're organizing the people. You're loving on the people. You're providing a place for them to gather. You're the guide that helps them learn how to win with money, but Dave's the teacher. So you don't have to worry about knowing all the ins and outs of Financial Peace University before you lead your first group. Let's see here. Got a few more questions here we can run through. Can you review again what the leadership package includes? Yeah, we'll run through that one more time. So leadership materials for Financial Peace University. Go for it.
So it comes with the videos. So all the teaching series that Dave does.
9 lessons on DVD.
Right. Comes with the coordinator's guide, which has all of the outlines for each lesson and how to approach each session. So it's very turnkey there. You don't have to worry about coming with your own lesson plans and questions and case studies. All that's been put together for you. Comes out with the question cards that you'll use, and it'll show you in the coordinator's guide how to use those question cards to facilitate that group discussion. Does have a couple of lanyards in there that say coordinator, because especially if you've got people coming in from the community, they have no idea who's in charge.
That's right.
And so that's helpful for identification. And then again, if you've not been through Financial Peace University, we're also going to include a membership with that, so that you get all of the student resources, which would come with the student workbook. It comes with one of Dave's best-selling books, The Complete Guide to Money.
Okay.
And then also access, and here's the biggest part, to financialpeace.com.
Right.
And there's tons and tons of digital resources. Again, as I was joking with Jordan earlier, we could do a whole webinar on all the resources in there, but it will walk with your students through each and every lesson, reminding them what homework they need to do, reminding them of what they need to be working on that particular week to stay on track. For you as a coordinator, you have a lot of digital resources that will help you manage that class well and understand how overall successful that group is. You can also message the class, message those that are absent, keep track of attendance, make edits or changes to your schedule if you need to, but based on weather-related incidences if you can't meet that week or whatever. And then every dollar plus, you know, not only do you get access to the most powerful budgeting software on the planet, but you also get access to all of these videos online as well for a year. Not just Financial Peace University videos, but also Legacy Journey, which is a 6-week class. That's a great follow-up to Financial Peace.
It teaches a lot about generosity and contentment. It's excellent material. Another thing too that's really interesting, so as a coordinator, you get access to our private coordinator Facebook group. And that's a really cool group to be a part of, especially if you're a newer coordinator. You can learn from other coordinators around the country on how they're leading their Financial Peace University groups, fun things that they do that they incorporate in. Like we see photos all the time of people who've got credit card cakes that they serve. They cut up those credit cards. People do credit card art. There's all kinds of really cool stuff. There's it's just fun, and there's a real sense of community there. A lot of helpful folks who really want to just be able to share what's worked for them so that you can be successful.
Great community, thousands of coordinators on there. I saw a post just today where somebody said, hey, I'm leading my first class. Any tips on how I can best promote? And all of a sudden, this community just was, boom, here's how you do it, you know. Awesome. And so it's very helpful and supportive.
Last question is from Missy. I saw that you mentioned that you're trying to purchase the leadership materials. You see a section on the checkout that requires an organization. You can write in whatever you want right there. You could write in your home or something like that to be able to make that.
Put your resident. Now you could just put your last name, residence. You know, we just kind of want to get an idea of where is that class going to take place.
That's right. Yeah. So if you don't know, maybe just say I'm going to do it at home or something like that. But there's not a right or wrong answer to that. Okay, I think that wraps it up. There were a few questions that we couldn't get to, but we're about to hit the hour mark and want to be mindful of all of your time. Thank you so much again for joining us today. I hope this conversation was helpful for you. I had a great time. We got to take a few minutes out of our day to just chat about something we're passionate about.
Absolutely.
Which is really cool. Again, we will, this has been recorded. We'll be sending out a link to the recording in an email. That'll probably go out tomorrow. So be on the lookout. It'll come from me, as the other emails have for this webinar. And remember that if you're interested in purchasing that leader materials for $99, that it expires at the end of the month. So make sure you grab that before it's too late. And we look forward to working with all of you and setting you up with groups of your own.
Absolutely. We can't wait to talk to you and help you.
Cool. Thanks again, everybody, and God bless.